So today I'm going to be sharing from Pirkei Avos, which is Ethics of the Fathers, various things. I think it's all from chapter 3. As well as perhaps if there's time, a little more from the Parsha, a different Parsha. Okay, so Rabbi Chanina ben Trazion says that if two sit together and no words of Torah are exchanged between them, it is a company of scorners. Rabbi Chanina, deputy, the Sigan, high priest, said, "Pray for the welfare of the government, for were it not for the fear of it, men would swallow another alive." Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana said, "Whoever takes upon himself the yoke of Torah, the yoke of government, worldly cares are removed from him. But whoever casts off from himself the yoke of Torah, the yoke of worldly cares are imposed upon him. Anyone with whom his fellow men are pleased, God is pleased with him. But anyone with whom his fellow men are not pleased, God is not pleased with him." That's from Rabbi Hanania ben Dosa. Rabbi Yishmael said, be readily submissive to a superior, affable to a younger person, and receive every person cheerfully. Rabbi Akiva said, laughter and frivolity accustom a man to lewdness. Tradition, which is the oral Torah transmission, is a fence around the Torah. Tithing, or giving the tenth, it's called Meiser, is a fence for riches. Vows are a fence for abstinence, and a fence for wisdom is silence. Beloved is man, for he was created in the image of God. It is even a greater love that it was made known to him that he is. For in the image of God he made him. That's from, the source for that is Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 9, verse 6. Next, everything is given on collateral, and the net is spread over all the living. The shop is open, the shopkeeper extends the credit, the ledger is open, the hand writes, and whoever wishes to borrow, let him come and borrow. The collectors make their rounds regularly and exact payment from man with or without his knowledge, and have on what to rely. The judgment of truth and everything is prepared for the feast. Okay, Rabbi Eliezer Chizma said, the laws pertaining to bird sacrifices and the onset of menstruation, these are essentials of halacha, Torah law, and the calculation of the cycles called astronomy, tekufot, and numerical computations, of Hebrew words. I've mentioned this here and there, is called gematriot. They're used for homiletical interpretations as a basis for the homiletical interpretations, to basically learn deeper meanings to the words and deeper understandings, right? So what does he say about this? The tekufot, the cycles, right? The orbits of the calculation of the orbits and the numerical computations, these are condiments for wisdom. So that is all for the Pirkei Avos that I wanted to share today. And I want to share a few more things. One is an animate universe. Ani in Hebrew means I, and ma in Hebrew means what. So it's like, what is I, or I is what? An animate universe. So anima, anima. What am I? Rejecting this. So what is the animate universe? Is rejecting spirits that attach to the openness with gentleness and forgiving. So let's say there's open space and something comes in, it's an uninvited guest. With gentleness and forgiveness, we can reject them. Let's say we want the space. Living in dveikus, which is 100%. So dveikus means, it's actually similar to the word for demon, dibuk, but it means clinging, adhering. And it's basically, if you have an empty socket, anything could come. So it's using that socket, it's connecting the socket to God, the plug-in socket. So plugging into God is 100% giving in order to get 100% too. So giving 100% in order to also receive 100% is the state of yes lifestyle. It's also like to do with the non-local field, because if you think about it, living, right? This living in dveikus is to be alive, and it's up to and including everlasting life, right? Beyond being a separate particle, which is getting past all the dense energies that can seem like hell. So everlasting life is not just, in other words, living plugged in. Living plugged in means being forever plugged in. Even to get through things that seem like they're afterlife experiences, after physical life. So in other words, up to and including everlasting life, to be plugged in. We could continue to, rather than being that separate particle, we can be plugged into something that it's sort of like all the cords are in a tangled mess, and it's like somehow it got stuck. One of the cords got stuck to another, the plasticky part outside of the rubber, and it rips off, and it could be like, ow, it was like such a dense energy, so stuck, and it hurt. But this is a way for it to get free, to continue to plug into God. That's the only analogy I have at the moment, right now. So continuing, so bringing the Gan Eden, which is the Garden of Eden, the paradise self, into the self now as a new person every single day, is to see the goodest self that can view at that time. And then there's this idea of the telly. So telly is like sort of this creature that is a cycle creature, and it's written about in Sefer Yetzirah, which was by Adam, if not also by Abraham, the first Jew who discovered Hashem. A comment, Lashon HaKodesh, the Holy Tongue. That's what everybody used to speak originally from Adam. Now, at a certain point, it was lost to the world when they made the Tower of Babel, right? And then, who got Lashon HaKodesh? Abraham. So it became called Ivri. He became called Ivri because he crossed over. So he actually changed his DNA. He was a transformer, right? And also Ivri then, which means crossover. It's about he crossed over also the boundary. He didn't live like everyone else, like a pagan kind of lifestyle, but monotheistic, and rather also physically crossed over a border, separated. God said, "Go on a journey for yourself." And so the point is that he now got Lashon HaKodesh as Ivri, as his language for the Hebrews. Hebrew in Hebrew is Ivru, you would say. Ivri. Ivri is like a individual, and Ivru would be the culture, the style. So the language was Ivru. So Hebrew. So the Hebrews spoke Hebrew. So anyway, the Telly and Sefer Yetzirah, thinking of all these beings, whether it's the lion, the eagle, the dove, they all have a place in the Torah, in the mysticism, in the clear-cut answers, not clear-cut answers, but like the straightforward definitions, and in the terms of the sacrifices, and in terms of the angels that the prophets saw. Animals, right? Anima. They give us the power to transcend the inanimate world, also called silent at times. The hidings from the natural, true instincts. So, in other words, we have studies where they call it phylogeny, and basically they say which genes we have that also animals have. For example, there's genes for our arms that are very similar to the bat's wing and the bird's wing and the animal's front legs. Like, there are genes that are similar that say that the what am I, this anima in Hebrew, is kind of like we could see in the animals. We have instincts also that come through. And finally, I remember learning at the Kabbalah Center that our teachings are as precious as the teacher. The delivery person brings us that which we want. We have to be grateful for the messengers that can transform us. So in other words, when you have a teacher, there's a story that the Jewish people were surrounding a teacher, an elder, a teacher, and he was holding a Torah, and he fell along with the Torah. They picked him up first because he was the one who taught them from this Torah. That's a good example. So I'm going to stop here, and looking forward to sharing more tomorrow on similar topics. All the best. Bye-bye.